Okay, yeah, I know I said Slayer's Try was our next pit stop on this multi-part analysis, but something you need to understand about me is I'm a liar. I'm also a bit of a perfectionist. I'm very proud of my Slayer's Next video. I genuinely think it's the best one I've made so far, but there's one big problem with it. It has to do with these lovely bastards here. Xellos and Martina are awesome characters who contribute a lot to the cast of Slayers, but I hardly touched upon them in that analysis. Not because I didn't have anything to say, far from it, but I simply couldn't find any way to naturally fold my thoughts on them into the rest of the analysis without horribly disrupting the flow of that video. And that, in a very roundabout way, is why this video exists. I'm here to correct my mistakes and give these two the attention they deserve. Let's talk about a monster named Xellos. But first, Martina. We're introduced to Martina in the very first episode of Slayers Next, and she's great. A crazy princess serving a deity she literally made up, who, over the course of 30 minutes, loses everything she ever cared about. Her kingdom, her status, her military power, all of it gone due to one Lena inverse. Because of this, it's perhaps only natural that she swears revenge on Lena and becomes obsessed with tearing her down, to the point where she periodically pops up throughout the season to cause mischief and generally inconvenience Lena and the others. And when I say she's obsessed, I mean it. Bitch travels all around the globe just to hate on Lena. In fact, it's directly stated that her obsession is what allows her to inflict curses using the name of her fictional deity. But here's the thing. Slayers Next is all about not letting yourself succumb to self-destructive obsessions, and everyone who does ends up losing their life at some point. Everyone except for Martina, that is. And I find that interesting, because it implies that despite all the villainous action she takes over the course of the season, Martina hasn't lost herself to her obsession. And when you look at her actions over the course of the season, that tracks. And I don't just say that because she decides to stop trying to kill Lena after a while. It's because, even during the heights of her revenge-obsessed haze, she still has other things going on in her life. She wants to get at Lena, sure, but she's also working a job to pay her travel expenses, or developing an infatuation with Gowry or Xellos. Martina's life is more than just her desire for revenge, and that's why she not only survives the events of the story, she even comes out the other end with a happy ending of her own. In the end, Martina's desire for revenge is really more akin to a personal goal that disguises itself as an obsession. And funnily enough, I can say the same for Xellos. He desperately wants to regain his human form, and when he's at his most desperate, he'll even do so at the expense of the people he cares about. These efforts never bear fruit for him, however, and even though he's willing to go against the other Slayers if it means getting his human form back, he's not so cold-blooded that he'd betray someone he calls a friend. Both Xellos and Martina have goals they strive to achieve, and while doing so can occasionally lead them to ruin, they never let their goals overpower them and make them forget what's really important, which is a little more than I can say for our next subject of discussion. Let's talk about everyone's favorite mysterious priest. Xellos is an absolutely perfect foil to Lena and the rest of the Slayers. Lena lives life on her own terms. Xellos is always serving some enigmatic master. Lena never puts her ambitions over the lives of others. Xellos is more than happy to play the rest of the Slayers like puppets if it gets him what he wants. Despite all this, however, he has a habit of sticking around, where almost every other antagonist is defeated by Lena and the rest of the Slayers. And the reason why is rather simple. Despite being a monster in body and mind, Xellos always carries a certain degree of humanity with him in his actions. He'll gladly serve under another, but only so long as they suit his own ambitions, whatever they might be. He has no qualms about killing those who get in his way and manipulating his allies, but he'll also gladly take up the fight himself when it's necessary. And even though he frequently treats Lena and the others like tools, he's also genuinely friendly with them. Way more than he needs to be. Moreover, once his true nature as a monster is revealed, his traitorous habits kind of become just another obstacle to account for. His and Lena's relationship is almost sports-like, where they've both come to expect the other to turn tail the second it suits them. On the surface, Xellos is the antithesis of everything Lena and the series stand for, but when you peer beneath the surface, it becomes clear that Xellos lives his life to the fullest, just not the same way Lena does. That's why he succeeds almost as often as her and the rest of of the Slayers do. And while I personally find Lena's path more admirable, and believe it to be the core of this narrative, I appreciate that Slayer's extended cast shows us there's no one right way to live your life, just a lot of different ones. Some are dark and some are bright, but that doesn't mean they both can't exist.